Hey everyone,
This is Mukul.
and this is Swapnil.
Welcome to Going Slow podcast, where we discuss our product journeys.
And also have casual discussions around life, universe, and everything in between.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 15 of Going Slow podcast. Hey, Swapnil, how's it going?
I think it's good. I was traveling a bit for some family functions, met a couple of Twitter friends in real life for the first time. So, yeah, just came back yesterday and back to work from today. How about you? How has your week been so far?
It's been pretty good. I was traveling. Uh, uh, I traveled a bit last week for my visa. So I'm applying for a tourist visa, Shenzhen visa, and I had to go to Delhi for that, submit all the documents and all the other processes that was required. So yeah, so next month I'm trying the digital nomad lifestyle. Basically traveling for around 60 days or 70 days and figuring out if the digital nomad lifestyle is for me or not. So that was something I wanted to try for a long, long time. And yeah, this time there's opportunity to do that. So I'm currently exploring on that. So super excited for it. And yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, this feels like a super cool lifestyle experiment. So I'm looking forward to seeing, hearing your insights after
Yeah,
after
so I have few questions basically for myself in that whole process, basically, that whether that lifestyle is for me or not, because I have seen like many people who are traveling loves to travel, but there are many, like a big subset of people who don't like to like travel and work from there. So this is like a place where I'll go stay there and have a balanced work life. Like for example, whatever life I have here, I will have there, but with the extra views and scenery and all other things that city provides. So I'm trying to figure out whether that lifestyle is for me or not, or and also I'll be going solo. So one of the other questions will be like whether the solo thing works or not, or whether it gets like lonely over time or boring over time. So all this kind of questions I had before too, but it just winging it this time, and we'll see like whether it works or not. If it works, then amazing. If it doesn't work, then I'll think of something else to do.
that pivot.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's like an experiment which I would say I'm getting a chance to do. So I'm like totally taking that opportunity.
Yeah, sounds good. And do you have people? Do you have friends there in case it gets lonely?
No. So
Oh,
one,
that,
so there is no one. So I don't know anyone from our college or any of my friend who is there as of now. But one of my friend is coming there for 10 days. He has some conference there. So yeah, so there are some dates overlapping. I would say 10 days or so. But after that, I'll be solo. So yeah, I mean, I'll have both experiences. So I'm super happy about it that there will be a part where a friend comes in and we'll have fun together. And the second part will be solo where I'll be able to figure out whether uh, it's fun or not, like whether it affects my work or not, whether it's fun or not, and whether it's sustainable for a longer lifestyle or not. So yeah, I'm super happy or super excited to try it out basically. This was something I wanted to do it for the long time, but I always used to delay it because there's so much, I would say, inertia in applying and doing all those paperwork. So I always used to hesitate. But yeah, finally I was like, let's do it.
so you mentioned there's a lot of inertia. So what got you off the other side? What was the trigger finally?
I would say the friend coming to there for first 10 days was the major inertia breaker. So he said that he'll also come for first 10 days, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Then I have a hook. Then let's not delay it even more. Otherwise, for example, if I'm planning on my own, then there is a very hard way to select a date because everything is open, right? Like I do not have any hook. So now I have a hook
Yeah,
that a friend
there's
is
no
coming in there.
constraint. That friend provided you a constraint.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, so it was like some kind of deadline and a hook that, oh, So I have to be there by then. And
Mhm.
then I was like, let's do this. Like, let's go all in this time. And yeah, I mean, I was super concerned that it will not work out because I was searching on many of the forums and in communities. They were all saying that it's very tough to get like long duration visa, like 60 days, 70 days. You can get 15 days with no issues, but applying getting like 70 days visa and 80 days visa is very difficult. But yeah, I got, but it was approved, so I was like majorly relieved. So I think it totally depends on your travel history. So, for example, if you're applying it for the first time, then it gets difficult. But like everything else, I think it's all compounding. Like, for example, if you have traveled like few places in the past, then it shows that oh, you have traveled before and you have a travel history, then future things get easier. So, yeah, I think that helped a lot. It's like a credit card thing. Like you improve the credit
Yeah.
score by using that credit card by making all the purchases. I have realized it's same with travel. Like with each travel, you make your passport strong. So
Right.
and our passport is very weak, so that we need it.
And how are things going?
Things are good. I would say like we have multiple projects in hand right now. So for example, we have a Pointer, we have another app called Depot, and we have a new app which we discuss on the podcast, which has Sign Panda, which is basically DocuSign for Shopify. And in the like last month, we also released like a mini side project that was with respect to like Shopify subscription analytics. And yeah, so there are like a lot of, I would say, branches out there, and we are just two people. So I would say the major challenge is now balancing it out. Like it's like, for example, I feel that's what I feel. If we focus on one thing, then the other thing loses momentum. If we focus on other thing, the first thing loses momentum. So it's, I would say, tricky balance as of now. Like we want to invest in all, but we are like stretching ourselves a bit thin right now.
The Sign Panda, I know. What is this other subscription analytics?
Subscription analytics is basically, I would say, like subscription and churn analytics specifically for Shopify. So, for example, have you heard of Bear Metrics?
Mhm.
So it's like Bear Metrics, but for Shopify. So for example, Bear Metrics is majorly for Stripe, where they give you subscription analytics, churn analytics, and everything related to that. So we built this mini project where you can uh, get like all the data, where you can see all the data with respect to subscription and churn, specifically for Shopify apps. So Shopify apps and Stripe are very different because Shopify works in a very different way. So the integration, I would say, is very different from the Stripe way. So we heard that there are many issues with the Bear Metrics solution we are using. So we thought like let's hack it together. Let's hack a solution for us. And then when we hacked the solution for us, we were like, let's try to open it for all and see if it has any response. So yeah, I mean, we built it, it's open, but as our project, it's not like you do it and that's it. So it's like a project where you'll have to continuously iterate on it, improve on it. So that process is, I would say, getting slower because we are involved in a lot of other projects too. So that's one of the things we are figuring out, how to be better at it, like how to manage that better or how to improve that whole, I would say, friction. So
Got
yeah,
it. How do you currently work in between different projects? Do you like spend some time on all projects regularly, or do you work in sprints, as in you pick one project, go deep on it in a few days, and then rotate every few days? How do you currently work?
almost mix of both depending on the situation. It's not very, I would say, streamlined as such. So I would say like we will have things to do. Like we know like what are there are list of things we have to do for all the apps. So we have just list down all those points and we'll pick the one which is like of higher priority, or which has the highest ROI. So one with the highest ROI will pick up, we'll do it as long as it takes. And then if it's like a 15-minute thing, so if it's like a 15-minute thing, some issue or some point, we'll do that right away. But other than that, yeah, everything depends on what's the ROI of that thing. So no, that's why like once we do that, but sometimes like for example, some because the thought process that you always do one with the highest ROI isn't like the best approach, because sometimes you have to think of a long term thing. What will happen if we do this in like 5 6 months or so? So for that long term thing, we sometimes like take a step back and just do what we feel is the best for any of the product to grow in long term. So when we launch Appointo was a Calendly's integration with Shopify, and it was growing, but it was not growing as fast as we thought. So in that case, we took a step back and we built our own scheduling solution. Like we basically sunset Calendly, and we built like a solution where everything could happen in Shopify itself through our app. So this was something we took a step back and did that, and it paid off immensely, like immensely. Like we couldn't have reached the goals we had with the Calendly integration. So I think mix of both approaches help for us. So we're trying to use the same way as of now, but it's just like things are taking way more time than expected. And I would say things are getting tricky and all those things. So we have some kind of process, but it's just like there are things that we have to do and they are piling up. So we're trying our best to like tackle it as fast as we can and as the best way as we can without like suffering that work life balance. What about
Got
you?
it.
Like, do you face any issues, something like that, like where you have to like work on multiple things at once, and how do you tackle that?
Yeah, I think this happens every now and then. And as you were talking, I was just thinking about the same thing in our context as well, which is we have one thing which is working nice, but then at the same time, we are experimenting with a bunch of other things. So it's very hard to justify working on the new thing in terms of a short term ROI, because there are immediate things you can do in the main vertical that is working that will give an immediate ROI. But at the same time, it carries a risk, which is like you're not diversified enough. So if a competitor comes in that particular domain or anything happens, then you have all your eggs in that basket. So it will hit you directly. Mostly thinking in terms of diversifying so that any random event does not completely wipe us out. That's the thought process behind investing into new domains. But it's again like a long term thinking. You know that new things will take time. You can't roll it out today and have good returns quickly. It will take few months, maybe 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. But yeah, the thing is, it will take that time whenever you start. So that rite of passage will always be there. So yeah, better to start and gain some insights along the way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in that, like, I always feel it's very easy to get stuck. Like, for example, when one thing is going good, there is a possibility that as thing is going good, you will lose that bigger picture because thing is going good now. So you'll just focus on that one thing. But if you take a step back, there is like a very big picture you can see, and if you could do something which like it's like plant a seed now, it can grow to a very big tree in some time. So yeah, I mean, taking a step back, yeah, totally like always works, and I think it's like placing bets. Once you have something, like once things are going good, so you start, I would say, placing bets on multiple things, and most of them don't work, definitely. But if any of it works, then it's like a win. Because if something works, then I think we forget all the bad ones. So it's mostly, I think, placing bets and raising the stakes.
Yeah, I think we touched upon this in one of the previous episodes about hedging bets as a time investor.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I think, as mentioned before, too, all the short-term gains are already done. Like you're done everything in your everything possible to get those short-term gains. Like you have built a product, you have built team, you have built the processes to get those short-term gains. Now everything is about sustainability. Like how do you make it sustainable in the long term? How do you make it so that it will grow long term? So yeah, I mean, I feel that feels great that you have like you have the same approach. Then I think then we are in the right direction.
Okay, so coming back to the subscription analytics app, like can you give me like a use case, like an end-to-end user journey of what a particular customer is looking for, and then how does this problem?
Yeah, so basically in that scenario, we are actually our own user. So for example, we are Shopify app owners. So there is a lot of subscription and churn, both things going on in all the apps. So Shopify has a different system. Like for example, if someone subscribes into the Shopify app, they don't get charged at that point of time. They get charged in the Shopify invoice. So, for example, Shopify invoice happens every month or so. Like, for example, at the end of the month, they have the Shopify invoice, and in that, they will have our app charges. But like if you subscribe at any point in the month, you will get charged at that time. So there is a delay. If you see, like if someone has installed the subscribed to the app and someone has paid for the app, there is actual delays. In Stripe, it doesn't work like that. But in Shopify ecosystem, it works like that. So for example, in many cases, what happens if someone subscribes to the app but uninstalled it or gets closed or something happens and like for example they don't pay their Shopify invoice, then basically our charge gets like frozen and we do not get that subscription amount. So that is like the whole gist of difference between the barometric solution and Shopify solution. So what we are trying to do is like building a base where you'll be able to see all the data with respect to Shopify subscription analytics for your Shopify app. So, for example, you'll be able to see how much your app is growing, like what's the month over month, what's the LTV, what's the user churn, all those kind of metrics month over month. And our plan is to build like more robust solution where you will be able to see like for example the categories of stores which are subscribing to your app. So for example if you have uh if you have like lot of stores installing your app, so what categories do they belong to? That's like our long term goal. Like for example, you will be able to see eventually something like this kind of stores like stores which has like in health industry or salon industry, they install your app more. So once you get like that idea, then you will be able to know what to target and what not to target. And also like a basic overview of like how much net MRR moment you had, like how much was it positive, what was the churn, what was the expansion revenue, on all other things. So initial goal is to build that net MRR thing, like we're giving a insight on how your things are going month over month. And eventually we would like it to grow to a state where we could recommend like which category of users you would like to target, which category of users you should target. So yeah, that's like our starting goal, ultimate goal.
Got it. Yeah, I think this is like proper dog fooding. So this is helpful for you as well.
Yeah, so our intention was to build it as an internal tool, but yeah, so we just exposed it. We were like, let's just try it. But it requires a lot of iterations to be at a stage where it will do all the things I have said. So yeah, we'll slowly iterate on it and make it as good as possible, basically, for us. And then I think if it works for us, then it should work for many of the customers. And the best part is, like, in this case, we do not have much expectation. So if it doesn't work, then it's fine too, because at least it's a tool which we use. So both scenarios, we are like, okay, it's fine. Like, it's like a bet we took. If it works, then that's a good thing. If it doesn't work, then it's okay. It's okay too.
Got it. And thinking out loud, would the Shopify stores be open to sharing their subscription?
Shopify apps, not stores, because it's a
Yeah.
app store. So there are like many shops who are open to it. So basically, few of them are using it already. So there may are many of them open to it. And like, our goal is not to sell any data. So that's why we have like a subscription model in that. That's why, like, we have mentioned it specifically that it, to make it long sustainable and everything, we will charge like subscription fee. So there is a tile per and subscription fee. So we had a concern that many of the stores will be hesitant, but as of now they were not, like, because they want the solution too, like what we are building. If someone is trying it out, they are looking forward to have that solution too. So yeah, I mean, maybe the people who are not willing to have that solution is not using it already. Like, basically, they are not using it at all. So those who are not hesitant, basically they're using it. So but in terms of, like, we want to be like extra privacy secure in this, because that's a very sensitive data. So we do not leak it anywhere. We do not share it with anyone. We just want to build a product which is good for us and everyone, and it should be self-sustainable. Like, for example, whatever charges we with respect to hosting, with respect to everything, it just like becomes like self-sustaining forever kind of thing. Like, for example, this podcast, we have whatever monthly charges. If we have some sponsorships, or if we could do something in future, if it makes everything self-sustainable. Not that without being self-sustainable, it's an issue, but it just like, if things become self-sustainable, and then it will run forever.
Yeah. And this app also provides you an opportunity to aggregate insights from a lot of data. So I like that part wherein you can get data from multiple apps and then recommend some trends, some insights to individual apps.
Yeah, I mean, we do not want to interfere like other apps data with one, like, but we want to basically, in terms of insights, our goal is to provide like insights on the stores. The app is like the store which have installed their app. Like, for example, if they're like, whatever Shopify stores who has installed their app, what kind of stores are using your app, and what region or demographic, if possible, like what region, which area, or which set of customers are looking forward to use your app the most. So all those things basically. So that's our like major goal.
Got it. And how's the overlap between users of this new app versus customers from other apps like Appointment and Depot?
There is
Is there a lot of overlap?
no, because the target customers are totally different. In terms of Shopify app, Pointer and Depot, our target customers are Shopify stores. But for this app, Shopify Subscription Analytics, our target customer is Shopify apps, not the Shopify stores. So there's no overlap because both are different. So it's like a totally different thing, or totally different customer base we are targeting.
Got
But yeah, I mean, it's the I feel the hardest customer base to target to, because the group is developer. So yeah, I mean, we'll see like how it goes. But yeah, I mean,
Dev market is super tough to crack. You have to sell them why they can't do the same thing by themselves. So yeah,
and not just themselves, and also that it makes your life easier and better sometimes. Like that sometimes, like, for example, if it doesn't make their life easier for like every second possible or every day possible, they'll not buy it.
yeah,
For example, so one of my friend, I had recommended him uh clean shot many times. screenshot Alfred many times,
Yeah.
but he hasn't installed it or he hasn't tried it because it's something which is like very good to have. But once you use it, you feel, oh, that's why you don't try it because it's just like a good to have thing.
Yeah. So I have CleanShot as part of my setup subscription. Have
Uh,
you heard of setup?
yeah, you already told me it's like a multiple app subscription thing, right? That's a very
Yeah, yeah.
cool idea, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the fortunate is it's the Netflix for Mac apps.
Yeah. So it's,
S-
I think it works on affiliate model. I think like whatever affiliate, most probably like, or
So
they
it works on usage. So let's say I'm paying a monthly subscription and I use, let's say, 5 apps in a month. So my subscription price gets divided in those apps.
oh, got it. Yeah, I mean that's a cool idea. Like that's like a app aggregator, like a second app store kind of thing. That feels cool. Like so there was one idea which I heard in a podcast and which I really like actually. So the idea was, and I found one Instagram page for it, and it was such a cool page. So the Instagram page name is something like favorite find, favorite product find, or favorite find. So what they do is like in each video, I will find one cool product on Amazon or anything, Shopify stores or Shark Tank product or anything. So they'll find one small product which is like very fancy, very cool to have, or very small and very useful, but very unique. Like basically, you haven't heard of it in a like in a normal way, but it's like a very unique use case they are trying to solve. And they'll say like what they use it for and how is it good, like how does it do, and it's like a 30-second video, reel kind of thing. And then at the end they will have like an affiliate link. So it's such a cool thing. Like for example, if you just do some math, like for example, they if they have 100,000 followers and they have something like in that range, like 50 to 100,000 followers. So if you have 100,000 followers and your reels is getting, I think reels get more views most probably, and they must be doing it similarly on TikTok and all other platforms too. So if you have 100,000 followers, then you'll be getting like more than 100,000 views across all platforms like TikTok, other than the videos which are getting viral. So you'll have more than 100,000 views on YouTube and Instagram combined. And then you have an affiliate link at the bottom. So if you have like 100,000 views, so if I'm being conservative and say like if 0.5% gets converted or 0.5% use affiliate link or less than that, it's like a direct profit. Like for, for example, it's like you're getting money for the recommending things. And one other way of revenue stream is like, for example, what if they partner with the product? So they'll get a they'll get a some kind of contract offer for recommending their product. So it's like branding, or I would say influencing or something like that. But that's a great idea. That it's something which I feel may not be like $1 million or something like that, but it's something which can generate 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $9,000 per month, something like that, depending on like how big it grows.
Yeah, I think if you have 100K followers, you are sorted. um, I I have been seeing these posts from Hirect. Have you seen people putting ads from Hirect? A lot of influencers did that in the past few weeks. So yeah, that's the same thing. Get an influencer to they pay that influencer and then just get the buzz. And that is more effective than putting out an ad somewhere or rolling out a marketing campaign. It's just like just pay influencers and that has good reach.
Yeah, I think
It-
that is what something is changing, right? Like there are a lot of people who are sponsoring now YouTube influencers and podcasts and everything else because it's a easier way to get the distribution, like some sort of distribution via that. And I feel that's going to grow in future, definitely. When I found their Instagram page, I love that idea. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm not sure what all things they're doing right now, but they must be doing like these kind of things. I feel that that whole thing has so much potential because there are so many things you can do. Then you will build a merch store where you will sell t-shirt, coffee mugs, and everything. So it's like a multi-diversified revenue stream, which is super cool. Yeah.
To the last question, which is what is one recommendation from you this week?
So let's start with you.
Okay, so I watched this movie called Parasite sometime back, and I really loved the movie, the direction, the effects, all the scenes. I don't want to give it away. Okay, I can maybe talk about a brief synopsis. So it's like a low income family. It makes its way into a rich person's household one by one. So that's like Parasite. They enter that household as house help, and then things get crazy. So that's one of the best movies I've seen in a long, long. So yeah, do check it out. It's called Parasite.
Oh, I have heard of it. Like, I think it's like a Oscar-winning movie. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
heard of it. I haven't watched it. It's a South Korean movie, right? I have to.
correct.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it. It's. I mean, I have heard like so many good reviews about it. It's just like I haven't started it. One thing from my side, I would say it's a podcast called "How to Take Over the World," and the title is very it's intense, but podcast is something about history. So it's like biography kind of, but via podcast. So for example, who is hosting the podcast, he just basically reads like, for example, I've heard episodes on Vladimir Putin, and so he does like kind of biography podcast on a lot of like great figures in history. So Vladimir Putin, Alexander the Great, and all those things. So what he does is like he does it in a way that he explains their history and he mentions specific points like what changed, like what exactly did they do at this point that changed their whole course of history. Like what exactly did they do that made them what they were at that point of time. Like what an ordinary person will do and what they did something different, which basically changed the course for them. I it's such a great listen because it's a very amazing story too. Like for example, when I listened to the episode for Putin, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Like because he narrates well too, and it's like I would say catchy history lesson, and it gets a the the way of storytelling, the way of narration, and I would say the character itself, like the character you're listening about is like I totally like that experience.
Awesome. I've opened it in a tab. I'll check it
Yeah.
out. All right then.
Uh,
If you like this episode, let us know by tagging us on Twitter. Our handle is going slow pod. If you didn't like us, then DM us and let us know so that we can work on your feedback. And yeah, that's all for today. See you next time. Until then, stay curious and don't forget to have fun.
see ya.